landed that plane. Oh, man. I was going to do a big entry like this. McGarrett, 5-0. But it kind of got delayed up. Hey, everybody. Let's do this. We got Steve Mason on tonight from the Mason and Ireland show. I am stoked on that. Been listening to him forever since I was little. Actually, we're like the same age. But I have been listening to him forever. And we're excited he's on the show. We got the second vice president of the AAU, Joe Gura. Big backgammon announcement. Of course, we're going to check in with Carlos because we're back in the 74-28. Let's start the show. I'm a Venice, California-born, Los Angeles-based sports fan. One that has played, coached, announced, and promoted sports my whole life. My love affair with sports started in my own backyard and has led me to this podcast. Thanks to the support of the Amateur Athletic Union in East Bay, I'm excited to bring you Sports Stories with Denny Lennon.
Sports Stories with Denny Lennon aims to bring its subscribers interesting, unique, and uplifting stories. You can find us at sportstoriespodcast.com. We drop audio and video podcasts every Thursday and go live on YouTube Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Many guests have shared their stories with host Denny Lennon, such as Super Bowl and BCS champions Brendan Ion Badejo, Peter Boulware, and Trevor Lawrence, three-time Olympic gold medalist Karch Karai, Kentucky Derby winner Doug O'Neill, NCAA champions Toby Bailey and St. John Smith, Hall of Famers Jimmy Lennon Jr., Rudy Tomjanovich, world champions Boom Boom Mancini and Tim Leary, AAU Sullivan Award winners Catherine Plummer, Sabrina Ionescu, and Spencer Lee, not to mention the head honcho, AAU President Dr. Roger Gowdy. We've also had best-selling authors Wesley King and Wayne Coffey, and our sports stories favorite, Norm Bass, the first African-American to play two professional sports post-World War II. Become a friend of the show on Patreon, and you can help keep the dream alive. Go to patreon.com/Denny Lennon or go to our website to see all of our social media links. If you have an interesting, unique, or uplifting story to tell, contact us on sportsstoriespodcast.com.
Coming to you live from Los Angeles. We're in the shadow of LAX. It's a top-rated video podcast in the Centinela Adobe Corridor. It's where we share a wall with the Korean United Methodist, and you can see St. Jerome Church from our back porch. We're in the 74-28 studio where Jimbo and Marley run the show, and Buck kicks back until he's got to kick it out. It's SSDL Live at 5 on YouTube. Hey, that's right. It's the happy hour show. We're back. Happy hour. Let's do this, everybody. I know my family's here because it's happy hour. Irish, you know how that goes. All right, who else do I got? My St. Mark people, my St. Bernard people. How about my VBCers? And, of course, my AAU people. Welcome, one and all. Excited about today's show. Okay, we've got to go over our states. Let's see what states we got that are coming in outside of California with the biggest metrics. Florida, always coming strong. Texas, always bringing it. Michigan, popping up. That's interesting. Kentucky, we haven't had that one. Got a feeling it has something to do with Bowling Green, where our guest went to college. And per usual, the number 2 state right behind California supporting the show is OH. IO. That's what they do. And we got the Ohio connection going today because Joe Gura and Steve Mason are both Ohio people. Hey, happy birthday to my sister-in-law, Karen, Jimbo, KJ. What? Happy birthday. All right. I want to encourage everybody to go to my Twitter. I always try to keep something fun going there. Right now, we have a 7-day poll. So it's at Sports Stories DL. That's my Twitter. And I got a 7-day poll on Karch Karai versus St. John Smith, right? Two of the kings of the beach volleyball, but we're evaluating their acting skills. Take a look at those clips. Make your votes. We'll be doing that for a while now. All right. Okay. Fun times. Let's look at what we did this week, I think. Okay. Hey, this week was Wednesday. We had on one and only Jessica Smith. That's right. The Preps to Olympians show with Jessica Smith, the AAU Beach Volleyball Player of the Year. It's her 4th straight national title. She won that in Chula Vista with Camden Doucette out of Texas, her partner. And congratulations to her. Thursday, we dropped our uninterrupted video podcast. That's Dr. Bert Mandelbaum, Chief Medical Officer to the Olympics, to the World Cup, Chief Medical Officer for everybody. You should listen to what he has to say. Check that out. And that's our happy hour show. That's tonight. Okay. Now that we know we got that all rolling, we get a chance to go say hi to Carlos. Before we say hi to Carlos of Casablanca Restaurant, our sponsor of the happy hour show, I recently went by there because there's been some activity taking place over at Casablanca. It's a documentary that's being filmed there. So let's take a look at the video. Yeah, so Casablanca is one of the oldest restaurants in Venice. It's been there for an awful long time. Now, that said, a documentary that both, brings to light Casablanca's role in Venice, as well as just other things that are happening in Venice. Yes, they interviewed me. My family has been here over 100 years. Yep, you're right. That's right. Lennon family's been in here over 100 years. So I got a chance to talk to the filmmakers, and there's their outdoor dining at the one and only Casablanca on the corner of Rose and Lincoln. Hey, let's bring in the 1990 St. Mark Athlete of the Year. You heard me. Carlos, what's up, Carlos? Let's bring your voice up there. There you are. Hey, Carlos.
Hey, how you doing, Danny? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now. Before we heard some of the dishes breaking in the background, so we figured you're just regulating.
But pretty much that's what I was doing.
Yeah, understood. Hey, Carlos, to talk a little bit about the film group that came in to shoot the documentary in your restaurant.
Sure, no problem. There was just these young film directors, and they were having an idea of a story about Venice, and they would come to eat to Casablanca, and they wanted to incorporate it, and kind of just that was the genocide of the documentary, and now it's becoming something about Venice, our family restaurants, not just Casablanca, but also Gilbert's and Paco's, and how they all came here in the early 50s and set up restaurants, and we're still here. So it's kind of a whole idea, even through the gentrification of Venice, we're still here chugging along. Yeah,
no doubt. As is a lot of my family, as I mentioned to them that, that came here, 1915 range, and was part of the entertainment industry in various ways. It was interesting how your group also, came in and has put their foot down in Venice and continued to provide quality Mexican food for all of us.
Yeah, so we were all excited, and we didn't know how big it was, but when you saw the production, they're really big productions, so it was really fun. I got to see a lot of cousins and uncles come out and talk about stories that I had never even heard about, so we're quite excited about what's going to happen. So I'm happy you came out there and gave your input about Venice and just the whole story, so that was really exciting.
Carlos, cheers to you. Thank you for hooking us all up. I know you can't drink because you're handling heavy equipment.
I am. I can't. No drinking right now.
Understood. Carlos, I know that our guest tonight, Steve Mason, was excited about his delivery of food. He's a fan of your restaurant, and I know you're a fan of his work.
Oh yeah, big fan of Steve. And he was one of the nicest guys ever. And when I was working my first job, I actually called him on the phone, and he was one of the only people who would call me back. And I always remember that. And to this day, I still tell everybody, call everybody back, because he made such an impact on me. He called me back, and I was like this small, first job, and I'm like, wow. He's like, this guy really calling me back, and I was like, he's so busy, but he's to this day, I always remember him, and I always have that I always say I always like him because he always had the time to call me and just speak to me, and he would say, oh, I can't do it, or I can't, but it was great. So wow. That always stuck to me. To this day, I'm still a big fan of him.
I've known you forever, since you're a little kid, and I barely ever call you back.
Yeah, see? Yeah. But he did. He actually calls me back. He doesn't do ghost me like you.
Carlos, tell me what's happening at the restaurant. I know you're still doing your deliveries, but you're also servicing out on the patio, right?
We got a patio, we got a sidewalk, and we're still doing margaritas. We're doing takeout. We're doing delivery. So we're doing everything. So if you come in, if you don't feel comfortable, call out or just pick up food. So we're doing all those items.
I'd love to sit around and talk all night, but I have much more important guests to chat with, Carlos.
Well, you got a great guy and a Venice local, so you'll have a great talk with him.
All right, you're the best, Carlos. Appreciate your support of the show, and we'll be checking in with you soon.
It's great. I didn't get swiped today, so I'm excited.
Right.
All right, bye.
That'll darn. Got to be quicker on the draw. Marley's on the draws tonight. Yeah, so that'll be all right. You know, we're looking forward to that. Okay, look, coming up next is something that's going to be near and dear to all of our hearts, because we're going to do what we can to lay out a national program of backgammon. And what we've been chasing down is a sanction of the Amateur Athletic Union. First, though, I'm going to bring out the second vice president of the AAU. Yeah, you heard me. Second vice president. He's a legend in Cleveland. He's got a walk-up montage. He was the focus of episode 9 of our video podcast series. Let's see a little bit about Joe Gura. Joe Gura, like the city of Cleveland, has his own legend, one within the sport of gymnastics. Joe was a top gymnast for the Golden Flashes at Kent State. With his brother Ray, formed the renowned Great Lakes Gymnastics Club. As coach, led Magnificent High School to multiple state titles, was named the State of Ohio Coach of the Year, was inducted into the Greater Cleveland Sports Hall of Fame, dedicated decades to the AAU, where he now leads the AAU Cares movement and serves as a second vice president. This is where I got a chance to interview in Cleveland. That's right in the shadow of the Brown Dogs, the Brown Dog Stadium there, right down the street from the Greater Cleveland Sports Hall of Fame, of which Joe is a member for his contributions in gymnastics. And, we pulled a few strings and we were able to get into that studio to interview Joe. So if you ever want to look that up, that's on our Thursday video podcast selections on our site. And there he is, the second vice president of the AAU. We go to Cleveland, or just outside of Cleveland, and say hello to Joe Gura. Hi, Joe. Hey, Joe. You got me unmuted?
Yeah. Yep.
Hi, Joe.
Can't hear you, Denny.
Okay. I can hear you, though, which is a beautiful thing, Joe.
Go ahead and sell it, Denny.
He said, okay. Does he have to restart again? Oh, he's just got to restart again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, buddy. I can hear you, but apparently you can't hear me. But that's not the most important thing now, is it, Joe? All right. Let's see. Joe, why don't you can just go ahead. Bring him back up, Marley. I bet Joe can just go. He can go. He's the second vice president. He adapts. He does what he has to do. Hi, Joe. Well, okay, we lost him. All right. Well, he'll come right back. No doubt about it. So as mentioned, well, we're going to talk to Joe a little bit. I can preface this a little bit. We were operating the Junior Olympics this past month in Florida, specifically in Brevard County. We did beach volleyball in Cocoa Beach. So we're staying there. We're in the president's hotel room, and there's some talk going down about backgammon. I mentioned I'm one of the top-ranked backgammon players in my age group. And Joe, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Daniel.
Excellent. I was just prefacing that how we were operating the Junior Olympics in Brevard County, but then the talk started about backgammon. And so you guys, by you guys, I mean you Lake Erie District AAU people, you championed one of your own, John Dragus. I held down for the Southern Pacific District and won a dramatic, best 2 out of 3 7-game series. And I kind of feel like that was the impetus to get a national program going, Joe.
Yes. As you know, Denny, I'm the governor of the Lake Erie District, and we conduct about 20 sports, the big ones being boys and girls basketball, swimming, gymnastics, volleyball, and so forth. But we're also involved in backgammon. All right. And Our champion is John. All right.
Yeah.
And John deserves the title because he went through, the local tournaments of our district, and he is the title of the Lake Erie backgammon champion. So what happened was we have this challenge from one of the top dogs of Southern Pacific. So we kind of met the challenge, and we decided to do it at our Junior Olympic Games in Cocoa Beach about a month ago.
Right.
So, we got all involved in it. And I have to tell you, I'm pretty sure that John was a little under the weather when it came time for the championship.
I see.
All right. And how good, when the championship's on the line, you got to lace up your shoes, forget about injuries, forget about illnesses.
You do
the best you possibly can. Well, John did his best. All right. But, you know, and started with an early lead. But
He
then
did.
his endurance just wasn't there. And he narrowly lost to, you know, the top dog from Southern Pacific.
Yeah.
So we're kind of waiting. We're looking forward to next year or the next season so John can reclaim the title of the best backgammon AAU person in the United States.
We can look at that as just the impetus, the exhibition. And, you know, so there was no national title quite at stake yet and so forth, Joe. And so I took it from there, went out to, you know, Northeast San Diego, which is in Escondido. And my son happened to have his bachelor party post-wedding, because, you know, that's how this happening these days, at the Lawrence Welk Resort. And so I got talking with the owner of Coos Tees, and we decided, hey, maybe this could be big. You know, this could be a sanction. And so we've worked up a little video, Joe. So this is our way of asking for the sanction of the AAU. So let's take a look. So I'd like to push that idea forward. I'd like Dr. Gowdy to consider that. I think we put on a show that night. You've shown that you would come in and maybe perhaps be a sponsor.
For sure.
Right? Yeah. I'm showing that Mick Ultra sits nice and pretty there. Maybe we go after Mick Ultra. I'm not really sure. I'm just shooting from the hip here, Steve.
Oh, everyone loves their lobes.
Yeah, they do, right? And would you participate in this?
100%. I'm even working on a V2 that has a pocket meant for the slim cans.
Really? So you have something that would, I don't know, would you put a magnet on it? Or how would it work?
I think the guy in the sailor hat has like an example over there.
Oh, this is the newly married. Let's see if we can get into the shot here. Oh, yes, he does. Oh.
And go ahead and see if it pops off. There
oh, my goodness.
V1.
All right. That makes Coos Tees, East Bay. I think the AAU will jump behind this. And now I just got to get Mick Ultra of the AAU. So we get them back in this. We're going to do an official national championship of a venerable organization, one that's ingrained in the society, the sports society of this country since 1888. Led our Olympic movement. You watching at home could probably win, maybe, considering I'm on the field, maybe not, but you might be able to win a national championship under the AAU banner. Unreal. Let's do this. Am I out? Joe, there it is. That was, we got a legitimate sponsor in. I'm going to chase down some more sponsors, but first I got to hear, I understood you have had some meetings about sanctioning this game/sport. Is he in? Hey, Joe? Joe, thumbs up, sanction? Joe, thumbs up?
Can you hear me, Denny?
Yeah. Thumbs up? Christine? Well, I think I'm going to take that as a yes.
I don't think that's a sanction.
I'm going to take that as a yes. I'm going to take it as a yes. We got to move on. So,
well, here,
look,
the shield. Want the shield?
Yeah, I want the shield. I'll take the Alex right now. There it is. I promise to defend, protect, and honor the shield as we lay out this game of backgammon across our great nation for this venerable organization called the Amateur Athletic Union, founded in 1888, that has led our Olympic movement and will lead the backgammon movement in this country. So, Joe, let's see. He might even come in on the crawl. He might say yes, and then we're good. Otherwise, we got to have him back on the show.
Couldn't hear you. I just don't think he wanted.
Yeah, I think we're in. All right. Okay. Backgammon, an official sport. We're gonna lay it out. I think what we're gonna lay out. We'll talk about a little bit at the end, and we'll go from there. So at this point, hi Joe. Can you hear me this time?
Again.
Oh, good. Joe, did you see me take the oath?
No, I didn't. I didn't see the video. I had some technical difficulties on this side.
So let's just say, Joe, can we do this? Can we run a national sport here?
Oh yes, yes. I've talked to the powers to be, and we're going to go with it.
Love it, Joe. Hey, if we can figure out how to operate games in the era of COVID, we could figure out how to lay out a national backgammon program, and we will continue to lean on you for leadership from the executive office.
That'd be great.
That'll be great. And hopefully you can round up some worthy competitors out of the Lake Erie district.
For sure I can.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Hey, Joe, you're the best. Appreciate you going through the mechanisms on and coming to us on your phone. We're gonna make sure that I think we can get Mick Ultra to send you out a sponsored setup so that you can come on your laptop. How's that?
Hey, that'd be great.
Good. Joe, thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you, Denny. Have a great night.
We're off and running, buddy. The second vice president has got our back.
No swipe for
Backgammon. No, I wouldn't. Why would I swipe him when he just got his agreement with him? Hey, look at that. We're moving. Okay. So we get a chance to meet our main guest right now. And when we have a guest this big, we always bring him in with a montage. You know that. Everybody's got a montage. Well, everybody needs a montage. This guy, he's got one.
I tried Jack, I tried Jim. Oh, this world is huge.
The national anthem, accompanied by Staples Center organist Dieter Ruhl, the self-proclaimed better half of the hit ESPN LA 710 radio show Mason and Ireland. Please welcome Steve Mason.
I put my feet upon the sand, begin again where I began. Yeah, that's just what I would.
I am lucky, I am honored to be the Falconer tonight. Incredible opportunity for Pride Night in particular. I came out about 2 years ago. This is my first time actually doing anything like Pride Night. It's a thrill, it's an honor, and I feel like I've fully arrived. I think this is one of the great LA sports experiences. It is my favorite stadium in all of Los Angeles. I think nights like this, like Pride Night here at LFC, are a great expression of the inclusiveness of LAFC. I think it's a special night, and it's not a night you're going to find anywhere else. I'm a little bit nervous to be the Falconer. I don't know what to expect. I'm the Falconer tonight.
Yes!
Yes!
Keep your eyes open the whole time, like wide open. If Ollie sends the spear, you will go for the jugger.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you got me pumped up.
Back on 27th Avenue. Well, some kind of cosmic intervention finds me here with the intention, finding out just who is who. So many wishes I made here between the jetty and the pier. Yes, some of them came true. On 27th Avenue, where I learned to fly and I learned to cry, painted watercolor blue. Where I need to be to remember me, the oldest place to start anew. Back on 27th Avenue.
He's the host of the #1 ranked sports talk show in the city, Mason in Ireland. Yep, his name comes first. Let's bring him on, Steve Mason. Hey, what's up, Mace? Let's see if we get your audio in there, Mace.
Let's see.
There you are. You're there, buddy.
Am I there?
Yep, you're there.
How
And
you doing, Danny? Thanks for having me.
you bet. I already feel like I know you from that video montage there, Mace.
Yes.
Yes.
A lot.
All right.
A lot of stuff there.
Yeah, there is a lot. Maybe a couple questions there. One, I just wanted you to know I'm supporting the LAFC. I thought too. It's a beautiful stadium. I love it there.
Fantastic.
How did you get that gig as a Falconer? How did that come out?
Well, they first of all, LAFC, we're the LAFC station, so 710 ESPN, we broadcast all the games. But it was Pride Night, and so they were looking for somebody, a gay guy, basically, to release the Falcon. And I was it. I was really excited to do it. It honestly was one of the highlights of my whole career. There was such a buzz in that place.
Yeah.
And I got to go down to the 3252, which is where all the sort of rank and file fans are. They were thrilled. I was blown away. Got to meet Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell said to my mom, you know, I listen to your son all the time. It made my mom's whole life to be down in the field and to meet Will Ferrell. So it was a really cool night.
That it's awesome. I love that stadium. It's built so beautifully, and the 3252, no doubt. Hey, tell me about the anthem. If I remember, because I've been a listener for a long time, did you lose a bet, or was that just something a lifelong dream that came for you?
You know what? I've actually sung the anthem now. I didn't see the montage. Was it one at the LA Kings?
Yes.
Yes. That was the most terrifying of the anthems. I've done the anthem at a bunch of different places, and I sing it as respectfully and mediocre as I possibly can. And on that particular night, I was terrified because you walk out onto the ice on a runway by yourself, and you're standing literally by yourself in the center of that darkened arena with a spotlight on you. It was terrifying. I got through it. I guess I got all the words right. Everybody seemed happy at the end. Luca Robitaille said he would consider having me back, so I must have done reasonably well.
Yep, you did. You did. You know, it's interesting. My cousins, they're the band Venice, and I know you go by Venice Mace. That was their song that we brought you in on a walk up to, and they do an awful lot of anthems. So they've often, you know, they said about when you do a hockey arena, it's a whole different gig because of what just walking out there is a challenge.
Walking out there is crazy because you're all by yourself and in that spotlight alone. It's amazing.
Now, I know we got a lot of sports to talk about, but I'd like to dig in a little bit. I found your life quite interesting, in particular at 15 years old, the fact that you found a way to get yourself on the air by buying some time, then selling the advertising so that you could do a 5-minute spot on the radio out in Toledo, Ohio. Is that accurate?
Yep. I was an ambitious little kid and approached the radio station, a small one, and said, hey, I want to buy 5 minutes. And they said, well, if you can pay for it, you can have it. So I got 5 to 5:05 every day. And I sold all the ads and I paid for it. Don't think I made any money. I knew I wanted to be on the radio. That was my life's ambition. So I started fulfilling it very early.
That's awesome. Hey, before we go too much further down memory lane, I wanted to make sure we recognize my boy, Carlos.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Toast to Carlos.
Carlos. That's a good margarita.
Have you been to Casablanca restaurant?
Of course.
It's the best, man.
It is awesome. Awesome.
It's the best. So here you are. You break in early at 15 years old, and you're going to. It's called Maumee High School.
Maumee, Ohio. Yeah, Maumee High School.
And so, but you get named the top student or the top high school student in the state of Ohio at one point.
Yeah, I was. When I was a junior in high school, I was named the outstanding junior in the state of Ohio, and they gave me a full scholarship to any state school, and I chose Bowling Green.
Unbelievable. Now, that's really interesting. What is it about Ohio? I have a lot of friends. They're in Ohio. But I mean, there's like 7 presidents from Ohio. There's 25 astronauts that came out of Ohio, even though I don't think they have a launch pad there. And so many successful people seem to come from that state. It's something like about the work ethic or something about it. I mean, look at you getting started at the age of 15.
I think part of it is work ethic. I mean, I think my neighborhood was a working class neighborhood. And, you know, my dad was middle class, lower middle class. We worked really hard. He worked really hard. So I think that's part of it, work ethic. But I also think there's a genuineness to people from Ohio. There is a friendliness. There is a charm. There is your good Midwestern stock. I can always trust people, even here in LA, that are from the Midwest, because I know they're being straight up with me. They're from the Midwest.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you have this reputation of being one of the nice guys, which makes me feel good that I'm giving you this big break on my show, Steve.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I was waiting for this call.
Yeah. Yep. So your reputation. Now, before I can't leave without talking about a little bit about Dick Kazmaier, who won the 1951 Heisman Trophy from Princeton. He's the last guy from an Ivy League school to win the trophy, but he apparently gave the trophy back to the high school or something like that.
Yeah, the Heisman Trophy that Dick Kazmaier won is at Maumee High School. It's in a beautiful case, and he is if you were to call the office lady at Maumee High School and said, who's the most famous person that went to Maumee High School, they would say Dick Kazmaier. But I would get named. I would run a close second, I think.
Yeah, I think you would. I looked at the list, and I would say you would run a close second. Now, you graduated from Bowling Green, but while you were in college, was that when you really started to expand as a radio broadcaster?
Yeah, when I was at Bowling Green, I didn't work for the campus station. I worked for a commercial station in Toledo. And I started by doing overnights and humping through a lot of late night shifts. I ended up doing nights from 7 to midnight. And then finally, after about 2 years, they put me in morning drive. And it just clicked all of a sudden. And that station just absolutely took off. I was named program director. I was named vice president of the station group. I was doing mornings. I mean, that station was my baby, and it was a really good radio station.
Okay, I got a couple of true or false questions for you because I can't let these go. Is it true that you slept on a billboard for a week?
Yes, that is 100% true. And we raised, I think, $50,000 for the Easter seals.
Did you actually get dunked into nacho cheese and chocolate for multiple sclerosis?
Yes, we absolutely did that as fundraisers, nacho cheese and chocolate, 2 different nights.
Oh,
okay. You don't want to mix nacho cheese.
That would have been out of line if they were mixed.
Absolutely. But yeah,
that's perfectly acceptable.
Yes.
And wait, now this one, come on. You're buried alive in a coffin for 48 hours. Come on.
I was. So
what?
It raised $100,000 for the Toledo Public Schools and helped fund athletic programs while the athletic programs were struggling. I don't remember what the budget reason was, but they were struggling and had a budget shortfall. So I helped raise the money. It was a crazy experience. I mean, I hear David Blaine talk about it like it took some sort of superhuman abilities. And granted, I mean, it's hard, man. It is hard being in a coffin for 48 hours.
Yeah.
6 feet under.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is there was like a little camera inside the coffin. So when people showed up upstairs, up above on the ground, they could actually see what it looked like in the coffin. It was a really cool setup. It was a really hard experience.
I can imagine. I would have. Now, good thing there's a lot of astronauts there. I would imagine you had astronaut underwear to get you through that.
Yes, I do. Although, 48 hours leading up to it, I did not eat or drink.
Wow.
That was part of the deal. So there was no means to go to the bathroom down there.
So then you're in the coffin and you're not drinking or eating anything either?
Not drinking or eating anything.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I went 4 days without eating or drinking. I would not recommend the stunt. I would not recommend not eating or drinking for 4 days. It worked great for us. I mean, it drove ratings and thousands of people showed up at the event and gave money, but I wouldn't recommend anybody else to try it.
Well, you definitely played this into a spot on this show, so it paid off in some level, Mace.
Denny, maybe you want to do it for your show.
Yes, yeah, maybe so. This is a good idea, especially if I'm older than you at this point. So, yeah, if I go one meal without eating, it's an issue. So you got out here to San Diego, I think. Is that where you met John Ireland?
Met John Ireland working at the Mighty 690 in San Diego, and that was a pretty legendary lineup. That was me and John in the morning, then Chet Forty and Steve Hartman, then Gene Rome, then Lee Hamilton.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the legends of the business at that point.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, you mentioned a lot of people, everybody else, but I'm a big Hacksaw. I love me some Hacksaw.
Oh, I love Hacksaw. He's such a nice man.
Is he? I put him on my board. Like, I just want to cold call him, kind of like I did you. Just cold call and go, will you come on the show? Because he always cracked me up and informed me at the same time.
Yeah, he is a gruff exterior, but the nicest guy.
Nice. Okay, so how did then you transition to the LA market, and when did the Venice Mace come around? because, you know, like when I first started hearing about Venice Mesa, I was like, huh, I didn't know he was from here. And then I looked you up, and then I was like, oh, he settled in there.
Yep.
And he became part of the backdrop of the west side of Los Angeles.
Yeah, I moved to Venice in about 22 years ago, right around the year 2000.
Okay.
And you know, I love the Venice lifestyle. I love the boardwalk. I love, as you know, I visit a dispensary once in a while. I love Venice. It is my town.
Nice. No, it's great because, you know, my family came here actually Thomas Ince, because I know you have roots in the movie business.
Yeah, Thomas
Ince actually identified my grandfather. I never met him. He died when my dad was young, but he identified him as a good writer out of the Midwest.
Yep.
He was I think writing for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune.
Yes.
Right. And he pulled him out to do promos for the silent films in about 1915 range.
Yeah.
And then from there came, you know, I have 60 first cousins. At the top of that chain is the Lennon sisters, and I'm down towards the bottom. But, you know, they grew roots, of course, in Venice.
Sure.
And so we're always proud of whatever's happening in Venice. So I love that you picked up that nickname.
Yeah. No, I love Venice. I love living here.
Tell me a little bit about working with John Ireland. I personally don't trust Orange County people.
Yeah.
But you do, I guess.
I have a natural aversion to anybody that grew up in Corona Del Mar, then went to UCLA, and now lives in Manhattan Beach.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I went from Altoona, Pennsylvania, to Toledo, Ohio, to LA. John had a much different route.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I'm a working class guy. John grew up, as I like to say, born on third base and thought he hit a triple.
Yes, I like it. I like it. He's gonna get home on a balk. I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So a little bit. Here's what I do like. Okay, I am a big Los Angeles sports fan. Always have been.
Yes.
Okay. I think there's something where you and I might differ, though.
Okay.
I actually want to stand up for the LA area in any and all times of doing well. So I actually want like the Clippers and the Lakers to meet in the Western Conference Finals, and then the Lakers to go on and win a title. I actually want the Rams and the Chargers to get to the Super Bowl, but then the Rams to win. I want SC and UCLA to be undefeated, and then SC to go to the Rose Bowl, or UCLA in basketball. Like I have my preferences in each, but I want them all to do well. I don't think that's the same with you.
No, everything is black or white for me. So Dodgers, Angels, nothing to do with them. Hate the Clippers, hate the Chargers, hate the Bruins. I am dug in with my teams, and I'm with them 100%. And I think, by the way, when I tweet something about the Clippers, I think the average Laker fan, you're not the average Laker. The average Laker fan is rooting against the Clippers, is rooting against them.
That might be true. No, that might be true. What I do want, it's important because you're an icon in the city, and you should know this. When I was 8 years old, I got to watch the Lakers practice. They would practice at Loyola, what's now Loyola Marymount University, and I got to sit down in the front row and watch those 72 Lakers actually practice. And when they would go for a water break, I could go shoot around, and if I was lucky, somebody like Gail Goodrich or Jerry West might like pass me a ball one time.
Wow, that's
amazing. So I have this long affinity for them. And then I'm a huge John Wooden guy. Grew up on John Wooden basketball, and I've always coached that way all the way through. So I do
I should say John Wooden, who John and I got to sit down with multiple times. I keep his Pyramid of Success book with a message written from him in my bookcase. So John Wooden, the most wonderful man in the world.
He is the most wonderful man. And while I get to be in my there it is, right?
There it is. Yes, Pyramid of Success.
And I also have a ball. I also have a ball. Oh, there we go. I don't mean it's okay. I also have a ball. He actually calls me Coach Lennon, and he signs off as John. And I took that to mean I was a little bit on the higher ground.
Oh, sure. I'm sure that's exactly what he meant. And history has proven that he was right.
Yeah, history has proven this. This is right. I was intrigued by your show today, Mace. You've been off sugar for a week.
Off sugar for a week. That's right.
Is there sugar margarita? I don't know.
You know what? There probably is, but I'm not. I mean, it's not a hard and fast rule, right? It's like it's guidance. It's not you absolutely must. It's like try to avoid sugar. So I actually have been really good this week, and we're in the middle of this weight race. So I'm trying to get to 200, and Greg Bergman, our boss, is trying to get to 190, and it's a question of who gets there first. Right now, I've got a pound on it. So I've had a very good week. I'm down 3 pounds. I've got to get to 200 on the dot.
That's the first few aren't so difficult because I try this every once in a while when I quit drinking for a month.
Yeah, right.
And then the first like 6 come off quick, and then every pound after that's a struggle.
Is grueling. Yeah. Well, I think I started, believe it or not, I started the pandemic weighing 195, and I got up to 217, which is as heavy as I've been in my life. So now I'm cutting weight. I'm going to get back to 195 before I have to go to the office, whenever the hell that is, because we're doing our shows for each of them from our house now.
Right. Yeah, I get it. I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody said, "Oh, the COVID really got me into, doing this and this and this," and I was like, "No, I went in the opposite direction."
Yeah, my shrink said, he said, be compassionate with yourself. So I am compassionate with myself every time I order donuts. Great compassion.
Tell me a little bit about these really what we'll look at as historic days of the boycott of sport by professional athletes these last 2 days. It's really been, it's got to like throw your notes off for your show a little bit when suddenly everybody is not going to show up for their game.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy couple of days. I actually love being in that breaking news mode. So I remember being on the air the night that Rudy Gobert tested positive for coronavirus and the NBA shut down. It's cool to be on the air and to be whatever part of the story. And I think part of our job is to amplify the message that players are sending. And so I think me, John, everybody on sports radio, we play a role in that broader conversation. And I'd like to think this week we contributed to that.
I think you have too. The other issue that came up was, and I recently had a podcast about 2 weeks ago with 2 lawyers who specialize in college sports.
Yep.
And we kind of dove into the college football, certain conferences that are moving forward and certain ones that aren't.
Yep.
So much has happened in 2 weeks. And I mean, just listening to your show today, it was kind of crazy to hear, about like, was it Alabama that's all of a sudden there's 4 position players or 5 position players?
That's Oklahoma, 4 position players, LSU, 4 position players, Alabama, just the whole campus. They've got over 500 cases and counting. I just don't see how it's going to work. And I'm not sure that they should try.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. And the Pac-12, who seems to be steadfast with sitting it out, but the Big Ten is having a pushback.
Yeah, I mean, they've got parents upset. They've got students suing the conference. I mean, they've got a bunch of stuff that they're dealing with that's pushing the ball along. And I don't know what difference it makes. What's the difference between starting at Thanksgiving or starting in January? It seems to me that it's safer to start in January. Even if you start at Thanksgiving, it's not like you're going to be involved in a college football playoff. So I don't understand what the rush is. Just play in the spring, which was the original plan.
I want to make sure we save room for a couple of questions at the end. So in the meantime, I noticed that you launched a podcast.
Yes.
And it's really interesting to me because I know you also, have a background in film where you've both owned movie theaters. And then was I searching last night and I saw you as Lee Atwater in a film?
That was me playing Lee Atwater in a movie that I wrote, directed, and starred in.
That's fantastic. Like I was telling my wife last night, I was like, this guy's busy. Jeez, how did he find time to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried a bunch of things in my life. They kind of break out into chapters. I spent probably 3 years working on that movie, writing, directing, producing, post-production. I mean, that was mine from beginning to end. I simultaneously produced another short, which starred my partner. And both of them did really well, went out on the festival circuit. One of them played the Palm Springs International Film Festival for shorts. Really, really prestigious stuff. We had a blast doing it. I don't know that I would attempt to make a movie again. I was actually an actor by training. I was accepted to Yale Drama School, ended up going to Bowling Green, but I was accepted to Yale Drama School, so I've got a background in acting. And if something ever came along, I would certainly do it, but I don't think I would initiate a project. Man, it is hard. That's why I never walk out of a movie and say, that was terrible, they suck, all that, because I know how many people it takes to make a movie. And I don't want to dishonor all of that hard work. Even the worst movies, it takes a lot of people to make them. So I don't ever disrespect or dishonor the work that people put into movies because I know how hard it is.
So part of the, correct me if I'm wrong, but part of the Venice Mace podcast is cultural and then part of it's sports, or do you just mix the two? Well,
it is the Culture Pop Podcast.
Okay.
So that's the name of the podcast. And you get it at stevemason.com. Really easy. It is mostly not sports. I mean, we've done some interesting stuff. If you ever want to know what my relationship is like with John Ireland and his relationship is like with me, we did a thing where I interviewed him and we did like a good hour. And then he interviewed me and we did a good hour on the podcast. Cool. It was really, really cool. But I've had people like Bryan Cranston's coming on it next week, Deepak Chopra, Susie Essman from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Unreal.
List goes on and on, but it's mostly non-sports stuff because I have interest obviously outside of sports, as you mentioned.
Bryan Cranston, weren't you in business with him with the movie theaters and so forth?
Yeah, Brian and I owned a theater called Cinemas Palm Door in Palm Desert, out in the desert, and it was a 10-screen art house and did really well. We sold it after 13 years, but we had a really, really good run there.
Was that before Breaking Bad?
It started before Breaking Bad, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being at the theater and Brian saying, well, I'm doing this show about a school teacher who has cancer, who starts selling meth. And I said, I don't know, Brian. That doesn't sound like a hit to me. And the next thing you know, he's Heisenberg and one of the biggest stars in the world.
Oh, that's brilliant. Hey, on the Culture Podcast, I just gotta let you know, 70s and 80s television are money. So anything,
is that right?
Hawaii Five-0 to Magnum PI, I know how that works together.
Sure.
I could go Highway to Heaven if you need it.
Oh,
I could go
Highway to Heaven.
Waltons.
Wow.
Waltons, I'm proficient, so just wanted to throw that out.
I
Let
think
you know.
my stuff tends to be a little edgier, but okay. I never did a show about the Waltons, but
John Boy watching the Hindenburg go down, that's edgy.
That's fantastic.
That's edgy. All right. Mace, you've been so nice. Can I ask you a couple of quick fire questions?
Yes.
Okay. What's your first pet name and what was it?
My first pet was named Hollis. He was a rat terrier and was a great little guy. He passed away in 2010. I've got two dogs now. I've got a beagle named Sophie, and I've got a shelter mix terrier guy named Fredo.
Wow. Favorite sports team of all time?
It's got to be the Dodgers.
Which do you have a particular year that you'd hone in on?
Well, the last one we won was a pretty good one.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a pretty good. Late 70s were really good. 88 was great. I think this team right here is fantastic. I think this team is I think they're going to win it all.
As long as they don't get run out of the first round at 2 out of 3, I don't like that.
I hate the 3-game series. I mean, I've complained about it and talked about it and even while they were dreaming it up, I was arguing that you don't want to increase the randomization of baseball. 60-game series, 60-game season, then a 3-game best of 3. To me, there's too much chance there, and we may lose. Potentially, we lose a really great team.
It is a great team. And the Astros already took a title from us, so that would suck if COVID took one too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We talked to Jeff Passan. We talked to Jeff Passan today, and he said he thinks that if the Dodgers get past the first round, they'll win the World Series.
So that's going to be that first one.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have a nickname when you were a kid? Something besides Venice Mace, of course?
Just Mace. Mason.
Nice.
I've always gone by my last name.
What was your favorite board game as a kid?
I loved Monopoly.
Oh.
I was a killer Monopoly player. I mean, we found out at a very young age that I am definitely a capitalist.
I just want to note, and I bet you might know about it, was Stratomatic. You ever remember that in baseball?
Oh yeah. Oh, I love Stratomatic.
That was the best.
And
I learned how to coach baseball from that. Favorite main dish?
It's got to be eggplant parmesan.
Okay. Favorite dessert?
It's got to be carrot cake.
Ooh, I'm right there with you. Favorite movie of all time? This is an interesting question for you.
It's Chinatown.
Oh, brilliant. I'm pretty close with Chinatown, Casablanca. You know, Godfather, just only because so many people have said Godfather.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that makes me step back. But I love Chinatown. That's brilliant.
I love Chinatown. You know, that's the LA. I saw Chinatown when I was young. And when I saw that movie, I thought, you know what? I want to live in that Los Angeles. That cool, sultry film noir Los Angeles. I love that movie.
Which that new HBO series, Perry Mason, is brilliant. I love the way
Perry Mason's fantastic. And you're right. It has exactly the same feel. In fact, Tim Van Patten, who directed and created Perry Mason, is one of the guests on the Culture Pop podcast.
Oh, wow.
And he directed like 20 episodes of The Sopranos, too. So he's got a career.
You know, it's interesting that Perry Mason HBO series made me actually watch some of the black and white 60s Perry Mason sitcom.
Yeah.
Not nearly as compelling, but
no.
it was fun to kind of go, okay, that's who Dello was, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
How about what's your favorite musical group of all time?
U2.
You got a favorite author or book?
Yes. It would be The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein.
Nice. That's a good.
You know
that's the first time that somebody pulled that book. So I started. I don't.
Do you have a dog?
I do.
It's the movie that puts a dog's life into total and complete perspective. It's a brilliant book, and it will absolutely move you, especially if you're a dog lover.
I love it, and we are. If you'll, I doubt you'll hang in till the end of the show. But fire bullet fence on this show is if you don't play Kick It Out Buck, which is the name of my dog. We named him after Magic Buck Lennon is his full name.
Yeah.
And when he celebrates his defecation with a Kick It Out, and so that's our sign off.
Oh,
and,
got it.
And he's coming down the home stretch, and we you know, he's the best. So I will now take your suggestion on that. Mace, who's your favorite professional athlete of all time?
Oh, that's so tough.
I know.
I'm gonna say, God, Kobe is feels like such a cop out. I mean, I'm wearing the.
Yeah.
I mean, Kobe is in a class of his own. Beyond that, I would say the athlete that I rooted for the most when I was growing up was Lawrence McCutcheon, running back in the 70s.
That's my game. I love Lawrence McCutcheon.
He was my favorite player. He ran for 1,000 yards every year. Chuck Knox would run them into the playoffs, and then they'd lose to the Vikings or the Cowboys.
I only because you brought that up, I have to tell you this. When I got confirmed in 7th grade in the Catholic Church, of course, I convinced my homeroom teacher I wanted to be a writer. And I said, that's why I want to pick somebody from the Old Testament, which was Isaiah. Right. I did. It was Isaiah Robertson that I needed. And I got a victory lap with my friends when they introduced me.
That's great.
Yeah, the Cardinal had to say Isaiah as my middle name. I was pretty proud of that, Mace.
That's
pretty
cool.
proud.
Cool.
You got a favorite quote?
Quote?
Yeah. Anything you lean on?
Who you are is speaking so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying.
Wow. I like it.
That's Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, that's what you get when I graduated from Santa Monica College with an associate arts degree. So I wasn't going to be able to keep up with Emerson right there.
Yeah, right. I hear you. No, I did a little reading on the side.
Paco. Okay, this is the culminating question.
Yep.
There's 4 restaurants on the west side of Los Angeles that are all part of a syndicate. I like to call them the West Side of Los Angeles Mexican Food Syndicate.
Okay.
Because they're all related. So that's Paco's, La Cabana, Gilbert's El Indio.
Yep.
Or Casablanca. Did I already say that? La Cabana, Paco's, Casablanca, Gilbert's.
Yeah.
You got to pick one.
Are they all related? They're all
the same.
Okay, then I got to go La Cabana.
Nice. Right across the street from Casablanca.
Probably the one I've eaten at the most is La Cabana.
That's a fair answer. That's a fair answer. Hey, I want our audience to know, all I did was reach out to you, and you said, let's do it. That's very kind of you, and it's very much appreciated.
You bet. I'm happy to do it. I appreciate meeting you, and I'm wishing you great luck with the show.
I wish you the same, and hopefully we can meet in person soon and enjoy a fine cocktail over at Casablanca or something.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Denny, thank you, man.
Right on, Mace. Appreciate you having.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you coming. Right on. Wow, look at that. We got Mace. He's the best. He's been around forever. That's great. No, and I say forever. I'm like older than him. But the fact of the matter is, it's really interesting when you listen to somebody in your car, especially in Los Angeles, and you're always in traffic, right? So you're stuck in traffic and so forth, and you listen to somebody, and they, in effect, become kind of part of your life. And then at some point, I don't know, you launch a YouTube show out of your garage, and they come on it. That's pretty legit. That's good stuff. Hey, producer Marley, I didn't get a chance to ask him about joining the Backgammon League, but apparently,
or Madison 212.
I didn't get a chance to push Madison 212 on it because we moved on from Ohio. But that said, here's what happened tonight. Mace came on. He's now a friend of the show. Bam. That's locked in. Second, he probably will play in the Backgammon League. I can almost affirm that. 3, there is a Backgammon League, the National Backgammon Alliance. I'd like to restate that. The SSDL, National Backgammon Alliance, was pretty much officially launched today with Joe Gura, second vice president of the Amateur Athletic Union.
Are you calling your Backgammon League
the NBA? I am.
Yeah.
Yep. SSDL NBA. So that NBA was launched, and let's learn a little bit about backgammon real quick. Be part of the alliance. You're going to want to be there. All right, it's coming soon. Next step, how do we get Mick Ultra involved? Because it fits so well in that shirt from Coos Tees. I know East Bay is down. I know Coos Tees is down. AAU sanctioning. All we need is Mick Ultra. If we can get Mick Ultra, we're going to launch this thing. We're going off with the National Backgammon Alliance. That's right, NBA. Come after me, NBA. Look at this. What are you going to do? All right. So that said, that didn't suck at all. Venice Mace was on the show. That was awesome. Thank you, Joe Gura, second vice president of the AAU for. Okay, I don't think they do that in the AAU, but he did. I did take the oath. And finally, thanks, Carlos. You're always supporting us, and we appreciate that. That show is good. If you remember, we almost didn't get this show off, but my producers, Christine. Hi, Christine.
Hi.
Hi, Marley. They figured it out. Got us on the air. We got the show off, and we're off and running. All right. I'm Steve McGarrett, and I'm out.
Hey, there's a story threatening our life today. If I don't hear that story, I'm gonna fade away. Hey people, Sports Stories on his way. Sports Stories on today at 5.
Sports Stories with Denny Lennon is supported by the AAU. Find a local event and join at aausports.org. And remember, you can catch your favorite amateur sports live stream, replays, and highlights at ballertv.com. Sports Stories, along with East Bay, supports the Heroes Movement, a non-profit that bridges the gap from mental or physical therapy to getting strong again through strength and conditioning workouts. This free service is available for any veteran of the United States Armed Forces. Visit heroesmovementusa.org for more information. Sports Stories, along with thousands of people across the country, also supports the My Stuff Bags Foundation, a non-profit that provides traumatized children with new belongings and new hope. Learn more at mystuffbags.org. Sports Stories with Denny Lennon is a production of Sports Stories, Inc. and is available on Apple Podcasts and YouTube or wherever you listen and watch. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and give us a review. It really helps spread the word. You can find all our social media links, archives, and other info on our website at sportsstoriespodcast.com. Special thanks to the John R. Wooden Course and Wooden's Wisdom. Original music for Sports Stories is courtesy of Lennon Music Productions. Original images by Sienna Lennon Photography. Sports Stories is produced by Christine Jimbo and Marley Rice. Sports Stories is edited by Bob McCall. Additional staff include Ray Castro, Teresa Dolan, Jake Downey, Carlos Haro, and Buck Magic Lennon. Kick it out, Buck!
Yeah, kick it out! Kick it out! Yeah, buddy!